Welcome to Sled Talk, where we love talking all things snowmobile. I'm Rob Reed.
I'm Steve Glass.
And we're starting again.
It's right there for you to
I
read.
know, I looked away. Okay. Welcome to Sled Talk, where we love talking all things snowmobile. I'm Rob Reed.
I'm Steve Glass.
We'll be talking snowmobiling from pulling the cord to pulling your hair out. There's lots to discuss. Steve, one of the things I've often wondered about lately with the advancement of snowmobiles is how many people actually pull cords anymore. I mean, electric starts seem to be very prevalent.
Well, some of the SKUs don't even come with rewinds anymore.
Mm-hmm.
It's an option to buy. And myself this year, my starter jammed up on me and I went to pull the cord and it didn't work anymore. I probably haven't used it in 3 or 4 years.
Right.
So.
Yeah, I know that when it's cold out and my sleds have been outside, I usually rope them over once or twice. But these days, like all of my snowmobiles have electric start.
Yeah,
It's just electric start for me anyways, as I'm getting to be, I'll say, older and lazier. I got to have electric start, got to have reverse.
Yes.
You know, those are, for me anyways, 2 must-haves or I'm not buying the sled.
Right, absolutely. Unless it's an old sled that weighs 100 pounds.
Yeah, but I mean, back in the day, I've talked about that 800 XCSP that I had that I tricked up pretty good. That was a fairly performance-oriented snowmobile. And 3 times I broke the rope on that because of the compression on it. And
I don't know if you ever tried to yank over my 1000 MXZ or not.
don't know if I'd want to.
No, it was hard.
Yeah.
It was hard.
Yeah. But I mean, I went from, you know, the 3-cylinder, you know how we talk about triples.
Half pull.
You remember, that TXL? You just kind of snapped your fingers and it barked to life. It was fantastic. I love that sled.
Yeah.
But anyways, like I say, from pulling your cord to pulling your hair out, I guess we're not pulling our cord as much as we used to.
No, not at all anymore.
Okay. So this is our last episode of the season.
Right.
We're wrapping it up. And what I'd like to do is kind of get into a bit of a story. And I'm going to take you back to about, I'm going to say 1988, 1989, in that area. We had gone out with a group of people to Carberry.
Oh, yeah.
And we were out there riding, and there was you and I and Jimmy and the wives and or girlfriends that we had at the time. And a fellow from, I'd worked at Stern Trucks back then, and he came along, and a lot of different things that were going on. And Jimmy had a problem with his suspension.
Mm-hmm.
And he flipped it over on the side, and I'll never forget, he was prying something, and I said...
He was prying a
spring
back down
into place. You know, we've talked about the different suspensions in previous episodes, but he was prying that back into place, and I said, Jimmy, watch out, if that thing slips, it'll break your... Snap, and it broke his finger.
Yeah.
And I learned something very important that day.
What?
Well, you and I at that point had been friends. This is the late 80s, so I'm going to say between 16 and 18 years.
Okay.
You know what? And I learned that you were absolutely terrible in a crisis.
I took him to the hospital.
I know, that was the job I gave you to calm you down.
You were running around trying to relocate his broken finger.
Well, if I remember correctly.
Which I don't think was going to work either.
You had me by the lapels in near hysteria.
Yeah, it was pretty
telling me to fix it.
It was pretty bad. It was bent back.
Yeah,
so,
it wasn't pretty.
You know what else you missed was me doubling him back to the trucks, and the whole time him telling me that he says, I think my glove's filling up with blood, my hand's getting all hot, and I'm trying to not pass out while I'm riding my snowmobile back to the truck.
See?
And then I had to drive him to the hospital. I don't know how I got
that's why I said you needed a job to kind of occupy your mind, because, you had me by the lapels and you're, like I say, near hysteria. I'm trying to think about the best way to phrase this. I don't want to say screaming like a little girl.
No.
That's not really very nice. But very similar to that. And it was one of those, like in the cartoons when they give the guy the slap to bring him around. And it was like, I'll never get a better opportunity. I better not give you the old kapow, because that probably wouldn't have helped, actually. I think it probably would have just taken the whole thing in the wrong direction.
I think the next time we had to take him to the hospital, I took charge of that situation and loaded him up and took him to the hospital the second time too.
Well, I guess after, the
and
number
the
of
third
times...
time we just let him sit and stew it out and phone someone else.
Yeah, exactly. And then after that, we made a rule that he couldn't bring his cell phone with him anymore.
Yeah.
And because I mean, Jimmy spent a lot of time getting trips to the hospital.
Yeah, it really cut into my riding time.
Yeah, it really did.
And it really kind of ticked the wives off because I never thought about it, but we locked the snowmobiles up when we left to go to the hospital, so couldn't ride them either.
Yeah, so
that was actually the one complaint I got the most. It wasn't him breaking his finger or taking him to the hospital. It was that we locked up the snowmobiles and no one else could ride them.
Right. Yeah. Well, I was riding. I went with, like I said, the fellow that I worked with. We went and put a bunch of miles on, and had a great day after that. Poor Jimmy's still alive. I mean, like the hospital. I mean, you can complain about the healthcare in our country as much as you want. Yeah. Jimmy's still alive.
Someone stole my Coke that day.
Son of a bitch. Can you imagine someone doing that?
Yeah. I heard someone shuffle behind me and it was gone.
Yeah, it wasn't the cleaning people?
It might have been.
Yeah. All right. So, as we get to the end of the season, and we truly are, because we're mid-April now, and there isn't a lick of snow outside, no. It's time to put them away. Mm-hmm. What have you got for us that are your best suggestions, Steve, for putting away snowmobiles?
Well, I don't probably do what everyone else does, to be honest with you.
Okay.
I just park it, make sure the skis are off the ground, the track's off the ground. I might grease the suspension and stuff just to make sure there's no water or anything.
Mm-hmm. Right.
And then I don't fill the tanks up, I don't empty the tanks, I don't put stabilizers in the tanks. I just run them several times throughout the summer, let the oil get through everything, and let them warm up really nicely so that if there's any moisture, it's gone. And then I know I'm going to clean the carburetors in the fall anyways.
Right.
So I'm not worried about that. I don't really want to have a full tank of fuel that's been sitting all summer. I'll even drain that and top it up with premium.
Well, basically, the way gas is today, the gas, if you put it away in the spring now and go back there in September, it's more or less just water anyway. Mix it with 7-Up, right?
Typically just siphon gas out of it all summer for my lawnmower.
Yeah, there you go.
Every time I run out, I go over to my sled and get a little gas out of it.
Yeah.
And then in the fall, I like to put 500 milliliters of oil in my gas, just as a break-in, beginning of the year. But yeah, I mean, a lot of people put stabilizer in, and they'll say to drain your tank and drain your carbs. I don't think having the carbs dry is necessarily great either.
I do that because I don't like the idea of, especially, and I'm going to say on the Ski-Doos more so than others, but it has happened with the Polaris, is that green stuff that likes to grow in the carbs.
Well, I know I'm taking the carbs apart every fall anyways, right? That's more, to me, the most important thing to do anyway. But yeah, and it's weird. That stuff's weird because you can go a couple of years and your carbs are like just minty clean. Yeah. And then they'll just all of a sudden 1 year just be full of that green.
Whatever that stuff is. Yeah. It's horrible. But yeah, I know for myself, I always try to run the carbs, but 2 of my sleds are fuel injected now, so you can't even do that.
They don't seem to mind it too much.
Yeah, they're so forgiving. I got to say how much I love fuel injection. But for the carbs, I make sure I do that. Same thing, I put some ski skins under the skis so they don't rust and all that. Grease in the suspensions, of course, because you want to squeeze out any water that's in there so you don't have rusty, basically deteriorating bearings come the fall, or more importantly, about December or January when they finally fall apart from all the rust.
Yeah. So did you say you drain your fuel, or you just run your carbs dry?
I just run the carbs dry.
That's actually probably not a bad thing. You could, even if you just, and then you could actually still run your machine a couple of times throughout the summer, but just run your carbs dry each time, and that's a good amount of time to warm your engine back up. But I think it's good to get that oil going through that motor throughout the summer too.
I can't get anywhere near my sleds right now. All my Christmas crap is piled all over them. They're in a closed trailer. It kind of works as a secondary shed for us, so there's no getting in there.
I gotcha.
Yeah. So that's what you've got.
Clean them.
Yeah.
Spray any aluminum bits on them down with some WD-40 or something if you want to, so they don't oxidize.
Okay, WD-40 doesn't dry out.
It does dry out, but it leaves a little bit of film behind. There's probably better oils from that, but just get them oily. Just get the motors and stuff kind of a little bit. I do anyway. Just get them a little bit oily. Get the exhaust a little bit oily. Just slows corrosion down a little bit.
Well, something I do and did with my old carbureted sleds, and I still got one that I've got out at the lake that I need to get at, is I would put that engine fogging oil into it. What do you think of that stuff, Steve?
Some of the new sleds will fog themselves, and those are the ones that don't want to run again. Well, I shouldn't say that, but I've had a couple come in here where I've had to change all the spark plugs and stuff in them because they just ran like junk after they fogged themselves in the winter. I don't fog them. I guess you could fog them, but I just think run them. Run them once a month.
Yeah, once in a while. It
Because
makes sense.
They could sit there fogged and still could be condensing. There still could be moisture condensing in that motor and everything, right?
So the engine fogging is what you think is fouling spark plugs, or is it doing a little bit more?
I think it was fouling the plugs. These were newer machines, and they have that automatic fog feature, and they never ran right when they got them going again. Because I mean, you just finished fogging your engine full of oil, right? So, and then they didn't touch them all summer. Didn't try to run them all summer.
Well, like I say, with mine, I can't get at them. They're just buried, but they're fuel injected. I mean, honest to God, I go out there in the fall every year and crank the key over because it's still nice and warm out, and they just fire right up. I mean, it's just no issue.
So do my fuel injected ones for sure.
Yeah. So it's carburetors are really, man, that's not what life is all about.
No.
Yeah.
Unless you're gonna take them apart every fall and clean them, which I will. Okay. I would say to anybody with a carburetor.
Okay.
Don't even take a chance. Just pull them off.
Clean them
properly. Put
them
back
Macounies. I mean, really, 90% of them are Macounies, I should say now, unless you're a vintage guy.
Yeah.
But if it's a Macoonie carb, I mean, that's a 10-minute job.
Depends on the sled, but yeah. Like taking them out of that old Tundra sitting back there. They're a little harder to get at. But still, it's just Macoonie, right?
Oh, yeah. When I say 10-minute job, I'm talking about the actual carb, not getting at it and getting it
that
off.
can take the longest part.
But the other nice thing about that is you can also check your engine oil adjustments and all that while those carbs are out of the way.
Check your cables, you know. It's just, I mean, you should pre-season your machine no matter what.
Right.
And that's part of the pre-season, is doing the carburetors. So I'm not going to
pre-season them in the spring.
Do too much with the snowmobile all summer and worry about it, because I know I'm going to be pulling those carburetors. If it has carbs, they're coming apart. Sometimes this year I ran a bit of injector cleaner through my sled. I'm not really sure, you know, what injector cleaner does, you know, when you buy it wherever, but I put injector cleaner with my fuel injected sleds this year, just at the beginning of the year.
I've become a bit of a fan of the XP3. You know, it's sort of like Seafoam.
Okay, yeah.
Same idea. I've just seen demonstrations where it does a little bit more than what the Seafoam does. And so the XP3 is a stabilizer. It's also a injector cleaner and all the good stuff. It also removes water and a whole bunch of other stuff, takes dirt out. And, you know, so I've just become a fan of that particular product. And that goes into my sleds all the time.
Okay.
And throughout the winter, because I keep my sleds in a heated shop all winter.
Yeah.
So we run into problems where they're hot and cold and hot and cold and hot and cold. And so condensation builds up. Yeah. So whether you're using Seafoam or an XP3 or pick your favorites.
Throw a little isopropyl in there.
Isopropyl, you know, the age-old, tried and true. Yeah. It works great. So stuff like that is probably not a bad thing to throw in the gas tank either, right?
No, not. I mean, absolutely in the fall for sure, because you can. I've had sleds where I've brought them into the shop in the fall, and there's been like an inch or two of water in the bottom of the tank, and those are snowmobiles that the seats have gotten wet the year before, and they sat under their covers all summer. Yeah. And those tanks will breathe like crazy. They'll expand and blow out, and then they'll condense like mad. Like, have you ever seen it put a 5-gallon gas can outside and see how much it crushes? Yeah. So if your seat's wet, or if the ground's sitting on wet ground, all that condensation is just getting sucked into your tank all summer. Full tank, empty tank, I don't think it'll matter. Yeah. You know, I mean,
well, even this winter, a good friend of ours, his engine blew up, and he has no idea why. And I said, "Do you ever put something in there for water in the tank?" And he says, "No." But he keeps his sled in a heated shop all winter as well. Yeah. And so we kind of attributed it possibly back to condensation. Sure. You know, enough water built up in his fuel injection system. Yeah. We were out riding on a cold day, leaned out his motor, that was it.
Yeah, it used to be a thing with carburetors for sure.
Yeah, but I mean, it's the same thing.
I know, you can't see it on a fuel injector. You can't pull a bowl off and have a look or nothing.
Right, but I mean, if a line's frozen or something's preventing the fuel from getting through that injector, it doesn't matter.
Another thing with getting back to carburetors at the end of the year, if you run your sled, you know, you're probably going to run it, pull it to your shop or whatever. When you take your carburetors apart, put them in like a nice stainless steel container or something super clean.
Yeah, your wife's
pull the bowls
soup.
off. Yeah, well, I've taken all our baking dishes. Pull the bowl off, and you'll see water instantly if it's in your gas. Yeah. If it's in your gas, then you're either going to suck it all out of your tank or put some isopropyl or something in there. But you'll see the water mixed in with the gas instantly. Almost every pre-season we do, that's something I'm really careful with, is pull the bowls off in a clean container, and then I can see if there's water in that gas tank and if it's something I'm going to have to deal with or not.
Yeah, and then drain it out and all the fun. Put it in your truck, I guess, right? And then charge
snow blowers. Yeah, they don't mind a little water.
Yeah, they don't do that. All right. Well, again, for those of you that are putting your sleds away now, there's obviously a lot of different options. But
everyone will have a different way of doing it.
Yeah, a different opinion on it. But there's some basics, some grease, some stabilizer.
Yeah, clean them. Make sure they're super clean and oiled.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Run them. I say run them if you can a few times though, for sure.
Now, I'm going to say pay it forward to yourself. The more you do this time of year, the less you have to do in the fall.
Yeah, sure.
So let's look at it that way. So you've got a story to share with us, Steve.
Well, I was just going to talk about some of the snowmobile riding we did where we rode into Saskatchewan. And I don't know of anybody else that rode into Saskatchewan.
You and I.
I know, exactly. None of our buddies have ever done that before, I don't think. But we don't need trail passes to go there.
Right.
That's the beauty of it. Lots of little towns right near Manitoba. You can ride in there with your Manitoba Trail Pass. It's not probably the most exciting riding, but they got some.
There was a lot of fields and a lot of open area, but
there was a few ridges and things, and it was nice.
Some valleys.
Lots of little towns. It was nice to roll into all the little different towns and things and see everything.
Yeah.
But no trail pass, right? No extra trail pass for your snowmobile. Not like any other province. You can just get on your snowmobile and go.
The problem that we ran into, though, more than once in Saskatchewan, was the lack of gas stations in these little towns. They were all co-ops. So you had to go find someone with a co-op card, and you could give them $20. Yeah, it was all card locks.
In the one town, everybody was at a hockey game.
Yeah, exactly. So anytime you needed fuel, so it was right after that I'd gotten myself a card lock card for the same reason. Yeah. And that made life a whole lot easier, Steve. Yeah. But first year we did that, we learned the hard way. And it was funny when we did that same ride the second year, people remembered us from the first year.
Yeah, that was crazy.
Yeah, that was, you guys later. Again?
Yeah.
Yeah, you're those nuts from Manitoba? Yeah. And that was a big day. It was a 450, 500 mile day.
It could be as big as you want. Like we just sort of stuck on a loop that would get us home in time, right? But you could ride in and spend the night and then come home or something like that if you want to.
Yeah.
And that was riding from the southwest corner. So, we were in Deloraine and Pearson and Melita.
Yeah.
On the way back. And then all the little towns in Saskatchewan, that one that had the Saskatchetoba room.
Yeah.
Apartment, that was kind of neat. And then that final little place we stopped at where there was no trail coming home.
Made up our own, yeah. We were getting tired. Well, I remember it was cold out. We were into the nighttime at this point, and it was cold. Yeah. And I pulled up to stop, and you pulled up beside me, and you had one of those, what kind of helmet is it? Modular helmet. And you popped your thing off and went, because you just couldn't get air in there because the condensation in your helmet had frozen.
Froze the vents shut.
And you couldn't breathe.
Yeah. Those helmets are well sealed.
Yeah. And so it seemed because you were dying. Everyone just gasping for air.
And then we decided if we should try to warm up or just go.
We went.
And we went.
Yeah.
I actually had frostbite on my thighs. Never had that before in my life. But driving a Rev with no wind protection on the side. And I didn't have the best ski pants for that ride. But yeah, those were the days. I remember we would start a slow cooker with beef stew in the morning, and that was waiting for us when we got back. And we'd get back, bowl of stew each, maybe a beer. Yeah. And if I recall correctly, not even a full beer. And we were out and done. Yeah. Well, there were so many little towns that you could just hit a town, and then sit down for a minute, pick your route to the next town or whatever. You didn't really have to know where you were going as long as you had a trail map, right?
Yeah.
And hit a Y in the trail, just pick whichever direction you wanted to go. And
When you think about it, we were using maps. We weren't using GPSs on our phones or trail maps on our phones. We were using actual paper maps.
Something on your snowmobile, but it didn't help us a whole lot.
I had a Garmin.
Because there was very little signage in Saskatchewan. That was a problem.
Well, I had a Garmin on there, but the Garmin didn't have snowmobile trail maps.
No, it was just saying go that way.
Yeah, north, south, east, west. Right. You could find the next towns. We could make a beeline to that town if we needed to get inside to warm up, and often we did because it was getting cold out. Yeah. But some great adventures there. I'll never forget that one time we were in the Melita Hotel, and the bartender was having a hard time with one of the barflies, and the guy I guess was pretty juiced. And the bartender finally looks at him and says, "You better get out of here." And he points over you and me. He says, "Or I'll get that cop over there to come throw you out and I'll take you to jail tonight." And the little barfly, drunk as a rat, left. Yeah. It fled. That was just funny. Yeah. But yeah, lots of adventures when we were out on our rides.
Yeah, that was a fun area to ride in. Like it wasn't the most technical trail, obviously, in the entire world, but it was just so many little stops along the way.
Yeah.
You could warm up all day, make as many stops as you wanted, and then just beeline back into Manitoba at the end of the day, and get home.
Yeah. Oh yeah. No, like you say, round trip
With no extra trail passes. That's the beauty of it. And
that
it was same time zone as us at that time too, right?
Yeah, it was.
Yeah.
Definitely. And well, no, we've changed time zones now.
Right.
But
Yeah.
yeah, all winter we've got the same time zones when we're going across the border. It's great.
Yeah.
Nice that they reciprocate. It's too bad Ontario doesn't do the same thing.
I know, absolutely. I mean, it's not like you're going to do a lot of riding. You're popping over and riding around, coming home. But how many little, we stop for some breakfast, we stop for some lunch, we stop for some dinner in Saskatchewan. Gas. So yeah,
oil.
Yeah.
Sometimes some repairs.
Yeah. So I mean,
There's usually somebody with an Arctic cat that needs to be fixed up.
Right. You remember that time we met that guy in the park? And he was on a big old 4-stroke Arctic cat. I think it was one of the first times we ever seen him 4-stroke.
That was the park by your cottage.
Yeah, and his
that thing was a
alternator had
monster.
failed.
Yeah.
Which was a belt drive alternator like a car.
Yeah.
And then it failed and his battery died. And I think him and his wife or girlfriend were trying to walk out of the park. And you towed him back.
No, I know. Another belt shot. For someone I don't even know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a big machine.
Yeah, I remember that. Well, it was a big 2-up. Basically, going through the trails on a couch.
I think it might have been a T660, I'm not sure. Maybe it was older than that though.
I don't know. It was a monster.
Yeah.
It was an absolute monster. Anyway, you know what? Thanks for joining us today. I hope you've enjoyed the show as much as we have. Remember, snowmobiling is all about performance, and Performance Supply is all about ensuring a great snowmobiling season.
Yes, thanks. Caught me off guard on that one.
Oh
Sorry.
my God! Thanks everybody. See you
Don't
next
normally
season.
Say something at the end when you say thanks first or something.
You want me to say that?
Normally you do.
Okay. Should we just? Does this part get edited out?
No,
Should I
leave
leave
it.
Okay.
Leave it in. It's the end of the year.
All right.
It'll be
Well,
better
we might
next
do
year.
the odd one through the summer.
Yeah, I think we should try.
Okay.
Get to a warm shack in the summertime or something, or
Yeah.
quadding or side by side adventure.
Or any
or
big
something.
news that comes out?
Yeah.
Any announcements, new sleds coming onto the market? I mean, people can find that on their own if they want, or something comes from Arctic Cat.
Yeah.
I know it'll hit, but it doesn't hurt to share the news when we find it
Yeah, for sure.
and hear it.
Yep. Yep.
All right. Thanks again, everybody. Once again, if you're liking the show, please share.
Thank you.